So a couple of videos ago I did a beer that was with a tea. This time, slightly different. It's a beer inspired by a cocktail. Kind of different, but kind of the same. Let's do this. Beer, 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 beer. Hello everybody, welcome back to me, Mate Brewski, for the Whisky review. And today the beer I have for you is by the Red Racer Brewing Company by Central City Brewers out in Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, yep, totally mistaken. Surrey, British Columbia. This is their after hours old-fashioned cocktail pale ale style pale ale. So we have a whiskey, orange, and cherries pale ale style. Flavored strong beer coming in at 6.5% alcohol by volume. No listed IBUs here on the brown and silver-esque can. Any IBUs on the website? Yes, we do. 35 IBUs. Cocktail-inspired beer. I'm not too sure how it's going to go down, but 35 IBUs, not too bad. I'm ready to do this. Let's crack this bad boy open. Let's see what we got. And we have a mess. We have a giant mess of beer on the table today, because that's always a fun thing to deal with. And I'm just gonna let it settle and not try to pour it in because I'm a lazy bastard and this makes the mess more contained. Do 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 do. Brr. Now, for some reason, once I did do that a little bit of a crack and I heard it go and was just like, yeah, this is going to end really, really bad. Thankfully, not as bad as I expected, but damn. Now it's making me think about the brewed on date. E2219. A, B, C, D, E, 5th March. No, not March. Fuck. May. June, July, August, September, October. It's about 5 months old. Shouldn't be too bad, but I don't know what happened there. Interesting. I guess now we can pour this bad boy up after the cleanup has been concluded. Or since the cleanup has been concluded. This is going to be very, very effervescent. Very, very carbonated. We're going to do that right there. Actually, we're just going to tip it. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to make a big fucking mess. Slow pour. Slow pour. There we go. A little bit better. I'm going to put that can right in there. We're going to take a look at the beer. Orange in color. Orange. Nice amber. Slightly hazy. Actually decently hazed. Nice bit of off-white head on top as well. Looking fan-freaking-tastic. Let's have a smell. It does smell like an old-fashioned, that's for damn sure. Orange, cherries, definitely bigger on the orange side of things. Orange, cherries, nice bit of pine and grapefruit going off in the background as well. But yeah, orange and cherries for sure. I guess sippy time. Let's do it. What does it taste like? Well, it tastes more like a funky, yeasty, bacteria-infused beer rather than a pale ale. After all those funkiness flavors leave, you do get a bit of orange and cherries going on, dancing around in the lingering flavors on your tongue. Whiskey, I guess, is there? Maybe. I'm not too sure. I've only had the one sip. I might need more, but there is a very funky, yeasty flavor, more reminiscing of a like a Belgian styled beer, not like a triple or anything like that, but just like, you get the or like a wild yeast style beer, that's kind of the flavor I get in the forefront. I'm not too sure if that has anything to do with the explosion that we just had. Maybe the age of the beer. But it is it definitely does not taste like a regular pale ale. Even if it has been flavored to be like an old fashioned. I don't know. Further scientific research needs to be done. So cheers everybody. Let's keep on drinking. Though they may be the bitters, because I know old fashions are comprised of bitters. To give you a recap or just a little bit of a tidbit of information about what a old fashioned is, it is made up of 2 ounces, well, no, not 2 ounces. It's made out of either rye or bourbon with Agnostura bitters, sugar cube, and I guess club soda is optional. Very interesting. Also garnished with, I'm pretty sure, like an orange twist, the peel, and then cherries, perhaps, depending on how you make it. Very interesting beer. I don't know how I feel about it. I can see the old-fashioned portion in the beer for sure. I can definitely see a bit of the pale ale. It does come across as sort of like a funky, yeasty, almost flavor, but having a few more sips out of it, you do get more of that old-fashioned base thrown into like a pale ale. It is unique. It is old-fashioned-y, with the citrus and slight cherry sweetness and tartness, but it's weird. It's just weird. It's a good. I don't know if it's a good weird or a bad weird. I'm very impartial to this beer right now. It does smell like an old fashioned though. Don't get me wrong, and it does taste like it a little bit, but not as strong because, well, you're not drinking a regular old fashioned. Crisp, very effervescent, medium, I'd say more light to medium bodied. That is weird. That is very interesting. Looking on the can, After Hours Old Fashioned Cocktail, Pale Ale Style Pale Ale. That's a mouthful of words and stuff. Red Racer, Central City Distillery and Brewery from Surrey, BC. 6.5% alcohol by volume. No listed IBUs here, but website, like I said, was a 35 IBUs. Description. There we go. Red Racer Spirited series gives a new take on the classic old-fashioned whiskey cocktail. That's it. Ingredients: water, malted barley, hops, orange peels, cherries, whiskey, yeast. Very interesting. Anything else? Central City Breweries and Distilleries, Surrey, BC, blah, blah, blah. See production date. See bottom of can. E2219, like we said, it was brewed, I'm pretty sure, out in, back in, May. Back in May. So it is a bit older of a beer. That's why I think it went, or it was just over-carbonated, because that was a big, you know what I mean? You can go check back a few minutes. There you go. You can see it for yourself. But yeah, interesting beer. I don't know how I feel about it. Moving over to the website, centralcitybrewing.com. You go to the beer section, and you do find the After Hours, and it does have a long description, it seems. Also, it's the 2019 Beer of the Year for the Canadian Brewing Awards, so that's kind of cool. Let's read what they have to say. The Red Racer Spirited series is given a new take on the classic old-fashioned whiskey cocktail. We just read that. Blending Loin McKinnon single malt whiskey with our house-made bitters, orange peels, and cherries make this pale ale worth sneaking out for. Like an old-fashioned, expect strong notes of orange peel and orange zest with a hint of malt sweetness, a kiss of whiskey, and and garnished with a cherry. Beer of the Year, Best in Show for the 2019 Canadian Brewing Awards, and Gold in the 2019 Canadian Brewing Awards and Conference for Experimental Beer. Color, they have some sort of weird range. Color is right smack dab in the middle, which I guess makes sense, but please put it in real terms, maybe like an SRM, that'd be kind of appreciative. Hop rating is 2 out of 5 hop cones. Cool. Alcohol by volume, 6.5%, 35 IBUs. Malt hops, detailed list, not there. Food pairings, not there. Why even put them in if you're not going to put in any information about those categories? Kind of confuses me. Also, availability, and if you're in BC or Alberta, you can pick up 4 500ml cans. They come in packs of 4. Also on draft in Ontario, and on draft in BC and Alberta, but in Ontario you can find the 500ml, just slightly taller tall boy can. I picture this as like the 6-foot tall boy can, and the 473s are under 5 foot. You know what I mean? Weird, but yeah. Continuing on. If you want to try out the Red Racer After Hours Pale Ale Old Fashioned Style Beer, you can pick it up for $3.10 at your local LCBO, which actually is not a bad price. Considering it's a 500ml can, you're getting 27 more milliliters compared to your regular tall boys. But for $3.10 for a 6.5% ABV beer, I'm okay with that, even as funky as it is. Finally, moving over to Untapped, but before we do that, I gotta finish this. It's a weird beer. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, we're gonna get to my opinion in just a second. Red Racer After Hours Old Fashioned Pale Ale Style Pale Ale. I fucking hate that. Pale Ale style. You could have shortened that into like 3 words. After Hours Old Fashioned Cocktail Pale Ale Style Beer. Done. Why are you doing Pale Ale Style? Whatever. Moving on. After Hours has been given a 3.42 bottle caps out of 5, and that's rated just over 700 ratings. Overall, I know it's been given a gold medal award in this past year's Brewing Awards, but it's interesting. It's very interesting of a pale ale. Then again, it is an experimental beer, which is the great thing about craft beer, like I've said before, but I don't know. I'm going to wrap this up. Cheers to the final sip, guys. Let's get right to ratings and wrap this thing up. It is very effervescent. I think somebody messed up, put a lot more CO2 into the beer, or it's just CO2'd up in the can. I'm not too sure, but it is very carbonated and a little bit hard to drink in that regard. Overall, my opinion, I think beer and cocktails should be kept separate, not put together. It's an interesting flavor. It's not a bad flavor, but putting it into a carbonated beverage is weird. Old fashions typically aren't carbonated. Maybe if you add club soda, but everywhere that I've been, you don't get it with club soda. That's like an option. Yeah, that's my thing. Keep your cocktails and your beers totally separate. Don't even try to mix them, because it gets a little too weird for me. Overall, After Hours Old Fashioned Cocktail Pale Ale Style gets a solid 5 out of 10 for me. It might have won an award, but it's just not my thing. As for, I guess, appearance, the brown and silver, I don't know why they picked brown. Old fashions aren't brown. They're more like the color of the beer was. So brown, you may ask, especially shooting orange and cherries. Weird. Short and sweet description. Thank God they have ingredients. No IBUs, but they do have a clearly labeled not best before, brewed on date on the bottom, so that's always a nice little bonus. Website looks nice, gives you a good amount of information, but if you have detailed lists of malts and hops and food pairings, yet no information, why even put that in there? Why even waste your time? Unless you're going to add it later, but I honestly don't think you will. Because if you were going to, you would have already done it. Presentation gets a solid 6 out of 10 for me. I'm never a big fan of the Red Racers logos. They always seem very busy and kind of, I don't know, they just seem busy and not really that appealing. But I saw Old Fashioned Cocktail and I kind of just grabbed it because that sounded really, different. And I'm always up for different. But overall, not a huge fan. Douglas, if you're watching, maybe give it a shot. I know you like your Old Fashions, but hey, I'm just not a cocktail beer mixture kind of guy. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. But other than, before I leave you, if you have any comments, questions, or beers you want to review in the future, leave all that information down in the comment box below. If you want to go ahead and like this video or subscribe to me, Maple, would be greatly appreciated as well. And with all that said, that's gonna do it for me, Maple, like I always say, crack a beer and enjoy. Cheers. Now I would never order an old fashioned, cause my palate's not adapted to spirits, but I guess I'll have it in a beer. Thought it was a good idea, but it really was not. And there's a lot of head, something overcarbonated, or something happened to the beer. I don't know. Cheers.